Sameach Tonight. My name is Rafi Oliver. We have a great show for you tonight. First, a quick recap since last Purim. Of course, the most recent big shul news was the membership meeting last week. First, the financial secretary reviewed the shul budget. What do you mean membership dues are going up because the shul spent $3 million on air conditioning? You're a monster, Matt Furleiter! You're a monster! Go to Fairlawn! But the real news from the meeting was that the members were strongly divided about whether or not the shul should be able to have a woman president. A woman president. Wait, this is HBO. Can't I say whatever I want? No? Okay, fine. How about this? A woman co-president. Take it down. Take it down. Oh. So there was this recent controversy about having a woman co-president. What? That was fine for me to say before, and now I can't say that either? What is wrong with this channel? Fine. For more information, stop by Women's Megillah Reading. Really? Forget it. Moving on. This year, the Eruv has had a weekly struggle to stay up due to construction at Port Authority's new bus terminal, which is scheduled to be completed roughly by the year 2020. Yeah, 2020, which made very concerned members of the shul exclaim, "I don't care about that in any way, I'll be in Riverdale by then." This only further complicates the tricky nature of the Mount Sinai Eruv, which of course does not extend into Fort Tryon Park, the only nice place you'd actually want to go to on Shabbos. Instead, you can take a nice stroll in your building's backyard, which reeks of weed and will certainly help get you in a spiritual mood. Now, we were told by our producers that we must also mention that the Eruv does not extend into Gorman Park. A park you think about so little that you didn't realize that's not Gorman Park, that's actually Yeshiva University's parking lot M that we colored in green. Actually, this is Gorman Park. Except that it isn't. That's Fort Tryon Jewish Center, the congregation that actually sponsors the Eruv, which does not extend into Gorman Park, and you didn't know where they were either. This is Gorman Park. That's right, it's literally a block away from here. That's not okay. But our main story tonight is about Mount Sinai's main sanctuary, a safari for single men. Now, I'm sure you know that this is where the main minyan happens at 9 a.m. every Shabbos morning. I said 9 a.m., not 10:45. Guy whose alarm happens to not go off this week every single week. Maybe it's time for a new alarm, Moishi. We all know your iPhone can do it just fine, Moishi. And stop complaining that you never get an Aliyah. Aliyah means getting up, Moishi. But that's not the point. That's not the point. Even earlier on Shabbos morning, while Moishi's still dreaming about getting that Aliyah he's never actually going to get unless he happens to be best friends with the Gabbai, the Ashkama Minyan is doing their thing. And on its face, the Ashkama Minyan would appear to be an innocent institution, a relatively quick, no-frills minyan for people willing to wake up early on a Shabbos morning. No speech, a delicious kiddush every week, and time to take a nap before lunch. What could be bad? Hashkama Minyan, as it turns out, is getting more and more popular by the week. So popular, in fact, that the main minyan attendance is at an all-time low. Just listen to this report from co-head Gabbai Akiva Berger.
You know, it's just not fair. They have no speech, no velo sasuru, no extra mishaberachs, and gabbais who don't report to the head gabbais. It's like they're winning because they're not playing by the rules.
You know, that moderately attractive laning robot poorly impersonating a human being actually has a point. Competition can be a wonderful thing, but only when all the competitors are on a level playing field. And that's not what we have here. The competition between Hashkama Minyan and the main minyan is like me having a Hagba competition with Dashel. Sure, we could pretend it's a fair match, but raise your hand right now if you bet on me. See, nobody did. That's what I thought. And the competition is getting fierce. Hashkama leaders have been actively recruiting main minyan members for months. New fathers are given Hashkama t-shirts and told they can get a break from their screaming babies. Hashkama Kiddush has even been timed and located perfectly, so it's happening right under people's faces as they're walking into main minyan. You try thinking about Rabbi Yishmael's 13 principles of Talmudic elucidation while smelling that. But don't take my word for it. Here is Sam Weiss, the spiritual leader of the Hashkama Minyan.
The Shkama Minyan is the greatest. We're actually recruiting members from the Shul. We identify the best people. And many of the Gabbai signers office people who come on time, people with good voices, bring them Shkama Minyan once and they're hooked. And they especially love the fact that I daven lane so quickly.
Oh. Now, to be fair, the question we asked him was, "Hey Sam, can you do an impression of a cheetah racing past a peregrine falcon as a Ferrari breaks the speed of light?" So he's actually pretty spot on. But this problem has caught the attention of shul leaders, in particular Rabbi Schwartz. As the spiritual leader of the main minyan, and theoretically the Hashkama Minyan, but who are we kidding? Rabbi Schwartz isn't too happy when people jump ship. They no longer have to listen to his speeches. wait for him to finish Shema to go on with their lives, and he's left with a problematic surplus of marshmallows. Actually, don't worry about that last part. I'll come get those marshmallows. Don't mess with me, Bani Dayan. Those marshmallows are mine. I know where you live. Now, in an effort to level the playing field, Rabbi Schwartz, and this is true, has actually tried to institute a rule that Hashkama can't end earlier than 8:40. Now, when you think about it, that's kind of a strange rule. Let's say it's 8:30 and they're already at Aleinu. What are they supposed to do? Say Barchi Nafshi for no reason? Are they supposed to replace Adon Olam with 99 bottles of schnapps on the wall? Do an icebreaker in the middle of davening? No, I don't want to hear your most awkward first date story, girl in the third row. I want some cinnamon babka. And you didn't have to tell everyone I didn't walk you home after our first date. That was between us. Now, this mandatory minimum timing thing is a pretty crazy rule, and it seems kind of backwards. After all, why should Hashkama change? Aren't they the ones doing a halfway decent job? It's like saying that Golan should really try and be more like yummy sushi falafel. Nobody wants that. Nobody. Maybe we should take a hard look at the main minyan instead. Last I checked, Hashkama wasn't skipping anything. So what is the main shul doing for 2.5 hours? Which brings us to our suggestion. Rabbi Schwartz, how about instead of a mandatory minimum on Hashkama minyan, we make a mandatory maximum on main minyan? And at this moment, I'm going to pause and wait for your applause because that is a freaking awesome idea. That's right, main minyan. You get 2 hours, and that's it. You do whatever you need to do. But when the clock hits 11, Nick shuts off the lights, and we unleash the children into your minyan. You know, those belligerent miniature people who don't really care if you've finished your rendezvous with God. They want applesauce and a pony now. Now, one thing that's clear is that, like all rules, this one needs to be enforced. We can't just leave it in the hands of the rabbi or the president. Therefore, I propose that if you're sitting in shul on Shabbos and the clock hits 11, that you all tweet that the rabbi should really let us go. Hashtag, let my people go. Were there 5 too many Hosafot? Let my people go. Were the Haftorah read like a dirge? Let my people go. Did the Chazan who got dumped recently decide to sing Ani Mizmiro to the tune of Adele's Someone Like You? Hashtag, let my people go. Hashtag, are you kidding me? Hashtag, I'm converting to Christianity. Keshet Tfilin, Hera Le'anov. I'm sorry, I had to. So, you're probably wondering, how can we tweet? Isn't it Shabbos? Good question, but let's be honest. I know you're all keeping half Shabbos anyway. Now, the rabbi would never want his congregants tweeting on Shabbos, certainly not in shul, during Kedusha, using a hashtag that quotes Moshe Rabbeinu. Do you think the rabbi wants that on his head? One would assume that the rabbi would do anything in his power, everything in his power, to stop this from happening, even making sure his minyan finishes at a reasonable time. So please, the next time the Chazan sings Aleinu out loud at the end of davening, or the rabbi starts on part 6b of his speech, remember that, much like your cell phone on Shabbos, the power is in your hands.
And now, Purim Sameach Tonight asks, how is this still a thing? This week, shul announcements. How is this still a thing? Since the beginning of shuls, announcements have served as a way to tell everyone what time mincha is and bug them about making panoply reservations. As shuls and committees grew, announcements also grew, coming to include mazel tovs and reminders to functioning adults that books are stored on bookshelves. But then, in 1440, Johann Gutenberg invented the printing press, enabling the mass production of reading material and knowledge throughout Europe. Although this invention was credited with enabling the Enlightenment, a scientific revolution, and the Protestant Reformation, the most significant impact was that a shul member did not have to wait until Yigdal to find out that the guy next to him just got engaged and is moving to Einstein. Fast forward almost 600 years, and it's now even cheaper to print. Like really cheap. Like so cheap that each and every person in shul gets their own copy of the announcements. And the most important announcements are in bigger type outside shul, for those who are too lazy to bend their heads downward to read the paper copy. And then, in the 1990s, Al Gore invented this thing called email. Sure you did, Al. That's right, a way to get things in the mail. Just immediately, and without having to go all the way to the recycling bin to throw it out afterwards. Now you don't even need to go to shul to find out what's going on. You just need to know how to read. And yet, announcements are still made in shul not once, but twice a week. To the people who got the email announcements before they came to shul, who saw davening times in massive font on their way into shul, and who are holding the paper version of what you're saying in shul right now as you speak to them. So with not one, not two, but 3 different ways to know what time mincha is, and with literacy rates in the shul being pretty frickin' high, and with everyone wanting to get into the social hall so they can bump into someone they had a thing with in high school and haven't spoken to since, it kind of makes you wonder. Shul announcements. How is this still a thing?
That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next year for our next installment of Purim Sameach Tonight. And now, this.
And now, Sam Weiss leaning the shul constitution.
Membership dues shall be fixed annually by the board. The board may fix different due schedules for different members based on the application type approved for such member. Dues assessment fee shall be payable in advance of the first day of the fiscal year. The congregation shall be known as the Congregation Mount Sinai, Sham Heaven, and Methodic Washington Heights Incorporated. The object and purposes of the congregation shall be those set out in the preamble. Any Jewish person who properly submits application for membership in the congregation in accordance to section 2.1. The people elected co-president at the immediately preceding election for co-president has successfully completed the entire term as co-president. Such co-president shall be entitled to a seat on the board for an additional term. No person who has held a seat as an officer or trustee in the congregation and resigned or been expelled from such position shall be eligible to be an officer or trustee unless agreed by the board as outlined in section 410B.